So by now you should have your materials, some pencil, some paper, and I also need you to have your ears ready to listen, your eyes open to read, and your minds open to learn. So context clues are when strong readers come to an unfamiliar word, they can use context clues to help them determine the meaning of the unfamiliar word. Today, we as strong readers will use context clues to determine the meaning of unknown words. I know when I'm reading, I come to some unfamiliar words. And what I tend to do is I tend to look at the sentences before and after the words for clues. Just like a detective would use his magnifying glass and his notebook and interview people to get some clues to solve his crime, we are all going to be reading detectives today, and we are going to be looking for clues to solve the meaning of unknown words. So again, I just want to focus you on the definition of context clues. Context clues are strategies that readers use when they come to an unfamiliar word to help them determine the meaning of that word. And today, we are going to use context clues to determine the meaning of unknown words. So at this time, we're going to practice. And we're going to practice with a nonsense word. A nonsense word is a word that does not exist. So we're going to start with the word woompapa. Everyone say woompapa. It sounds so funny. Woompapa. Say it again. Woompapa. Awesome. Sounds so funny when you say it. Woompapa. So I'm going to read this paragraph, and what we're going to do is we are all going to pretend to be detectives. I want you to take your pretend magnifying glasses. I want you to take your pen and pencil, and I want you to really search for the clues that will help us figure out what a woompapa is. So here is the passage. A lot of people do not like their woompapa. They don't like it because they don't like being woken up in the morning. Many people keep their woompapa by their bed. I use my cell phone as my woompapa. And I know I don't like my woompapa when I use it. What is a woompapa and how do you know? Think about that. Think about what is a woompapa. Look for clues in this reading to help you figure out what a woompapa is. And then think about what clues helped you figure that out. So I will give you a few seconds to reread the passage. And what I want you to do is look for the key words or phrases that help you figure out what a woompapa is. I bet you some of you know what it is. I bet you some of you may know what it is. And those of you that have no clue as to what it is, we're going to get through this together. So I like to reread a passage sometimes when there's an unfamiliar word a few times to really understand what the reader is saying. So I'm just going to reread this quickly. A lot of people do not like their woompapa. They don't like it because they don't like being woken up in the morning. Many people keep their woompapa by their bed. I use my cell phone as my womb papa. So the first thing I'm going to do as a good, strong reader is look for the clues. So what stands out to me is that people do not like their womb papa. So this stands out to me, this line here. People do not like their womb papa. So I'm thinking in my head, what are some things I may not like? That's not enough of a clue to help me figure out what a womb papa is. I have to keep reading the sentences before and after the word womb papa to figure out if there are any more clues to help me solve this mystery. So I'm going to keep reading. They don't like it because they don't like being woken up in the morning. I see a clue. Woken up in the morning. So, what do I know as a reading detective? I know that people do not like their womb papa. I know that a womb papa wakes them up in the morning. I'm starting to get a feeling as to what a womb papa is. Are you starting to get that feeling? Do any of you know? If you know, why don't you write down your guess on your piece of paper? If you don't know, keep looking for those clues. I'm going to go to the next sentence. Many people keep their womb papa by their bed. So I know that people keep their womb papa by their bed. So I have a few clues here. People do not like the womb papa. People do not like woken up in the morning because of the womb papa. And people keep their womb papas by their beds. I'm getting closer and closer to solving the mystery. How about you? And the last sentence is really what helps me figure out what a womb papa is, because this is exactly what I do in the morning myself. I use my cell phone as my womb papa. So, how many of you think you know what a womb papa is? And how did you find out? I'll tell you what a womb papa is. Are you ready? Are you sure you're ready? A womb papa is an alarm clock. It's an alarm clock, and how did I know? Well, first, I'm not a morning person. I do not like being woken up in the morning. And I know that a womb papa is something, not some person. It's a thing that wakes me up in the morning. I also know that many people keep this thing that wakes them up in the morning by their beds. And why do they keep them by their beds? Because I know, because of my background knowledge, that what people generally keep next to their beds is some sort of clock or cell phone or watch that makes noise in the morning to wake them up. And finally, I know that I personally do not have a clock next to my bed, but instead I use my cell phone and set an alarm that wakes me up in the morning. It aggravates me so much. Sometimes I just want to fling it across the room because I want to sleep later. But it definitely does its job of waking me up. So if you guessed alarm clock, high five to you. If you didn't guess alarm clock, that's okay. Well, if you tried, that's all that matters. And we are going to have a lot more practice using context clues today. So the main lesson of this activity is that when you come to an unfamiliar word, look at the sentences before and after the word to try to look for clues like a detective would do to find out the meaning of the unfamiliar word. And please remember that womb papa is a nonsense word. There's no such thing. But feel free to go call it a womb papa all you want. I think I will be referring to my alarm clock as a womb papa from now on also.